This Yuletide Miniseries is a replay of episodes originally published in 2024. This way, the episodes are conveniently queued up in your podcast player so you don't have to go searching for them, and you never lose your spot in the listening order. As always, we're celebrating Yuletide in real time in the Numinous Network. I hope you'll join us for daily altar time from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific, starting December 21st, winter solstice, and going through till New Year on January 1st. We're gathering on Zoom to check in, light our candles, and do a 20-minute guided trance journey to connect with the Yuletide theme of the day. So join us in the Numinous Network for Yuletide. Sign up at carmenspaniola.com.
Welcome to the fourth day of Yuletide, when we honor the wondrous child within us all. Tonight is Children's Night. This seems like the Yuletide theme that has most strongly survived into the modern era, the night of laying out treats, gifts, and surprises for kids. I don't think much guidance is needed in this aspect. Consumer culture has done a pretty thorough job of making the holidays about gifting, to children in particular. But there is one holiday tradition in many households that honors some of the very special qualities possessed by children that aren't so often spoken of. Qualities such as courage and cunning and boldness and loyalty to their friends and loved ones. And this is the tradition of decorating a gingerbread house. It originates from an old folk story of Hansel and Gretel, published by the Brothers Grimm in 1812, but it was made most famous by the opera written by a German composer with the best name ever, Engelbert Humperdinck. It was first performed on December 23rd, 1893. Now, as an aside, for the record, it actually wasn't written by Engelbert Humperdinck entirely. It was actually Humperdinck's sister, Adelheid Wette, who had the idea for the opera. She had made up the songs for the folk story and sang them to her children at Christmas time. So she approached her brother, Engelbert Humperdinck, to compose the music for the libretto she had written, which is kind of sweet because it's the story of a brother and sister created by a brother and sister. Just too bad the sister was totally written out of history. The opera is still performed, mostly at Christmas, and was translated into English by another female composer you've never heard of till now, Constance Bash. Ho, ho, ho. That's my gift to all my fellow feminists. Okay, so back to Hansel and Gretel. So the story goes that Hansel and Gretel are told by their mother to go find strawberries in the forest. But they eat so many strawberries as they pick that they end up needing to go further and further into the forest to find more, lest they go home empty-handed. But then night falls. They're scared, but they stick together and they fall asleep and survive the cold night in the forest. When they wake up the next morning, they come across a house made of cake with licorice around the windows and a roof made of cookies. But there are some ominous details that make them a little suspicious, like the big huge oven over on the left and the giant human-sized cage over on the right, not to mention the fence around the property made of gingerbread people in the shapes of boys and girls. But they're so hungry because they spent all night in the forest. So they start nibbling on pieces of the house. And then suddenly a witch appears singing, "Nibble, nibble, little mousekin, who's nibbling on my houseskin?" Or something like that. I don't know. You can Google the opera and nibble, nibble, housekin and mousekin, and you can hear the tune. Anyway, they're like, uh-oh. The witch is acting nice, but seems suspicious, and the kids don't trust her. She has a magic wand, and before you know it, Hansel's in the cage, and the witch is asking Gretel to check the gingerbread cookies in the oven. But the children have figured out that the witch lures children to her home with sweets and then cooks them in the magic oven that turns them into gingerbread. So Gretel secretly steals the witch's wand, tricks the witch into showing Gretel how to work the oven, and when the witch has her head inside it, Gretel uses the wand to release Hansel from the cage, who doesn't hesitate to push the witch into the oven and turn up the heat till it explodes in a fiery blaze. Then they use the wand to bring the gingerbread children back to life, and they're all reunited with their parents. Hooray! So children, the reason we decorate sweet candy gingerbread houses at Yuletide is paradoxically to remind us not to eat too much sugar or we might be kidnapped and eaten. Merry Christmas! This night is also about expectant waiting on the light. If you have a fireplace or an outdoor fire ring, Christmas Eve is a good time to honor fire. We're a few days past the longest night of the year, and there is now a tiny but perceptible change in the lengthening of the daylight, proof that we have made it through the long dark night of the winter half of the year. Now we focus on growing the light in our hearts to see us through till spring. In many Celtic traditions, the new day is marked not by the sunrise, but rather by nightfall. So the eve of a festival is actually the beginning of the holiday. So nightfall on Christmas Eve is actually the beginning of Christmas Day. In many households, the Yule log burns throughout the night on Christmas Eve. In many parts of Scotland, a specially prepared large candle would be lit to burn all night long. In the Highlands, the head of the household would take this candle out to the barn tonight, and by this light the livestock would eat an extra special and generous meal of good grains and food scraps. The farmer would remain there all night with the animals until the candle burned out sometime near sunrise. For a modern take on this ritual, you might choose the safer option of leaving a light on throughout the night. For a long time, Christmas Eve was when the house would be garlanded with evergreen boughs, a form of sympathetic magic meant to induce the growth of green things and to mark the promise of spring. Spruce, fir, cedar, bay, yew, holly, ivy, oak, and mistletoe all feature prominently throughout the folk traditions all across old Europe. Even in ancient Rome, holly was given in posies to represent a blessing of prosperity. And as recently as present day in the Highlands of Scotland, it's used to keep the meaner fairies at bay. Historically in Scotland, holly was considered a lucky greenery for men, while ivy was thought to bring luck to women. Today would be a good day to snip something evergreen and bring it into your home to grace your altar. I'll share more about the magic of Yuletide evergreens and herbs on December 29th, when we honor the gifts of sustenance and medicine from the land. And tonight, you can light a candle and observe a moment of quiet reflection as you gather the light within you at your altar. A simple few minutes when perhaps you remember a happy moment of childhood holiday times. And in amongst any last-minute fussing around the house, think about what would really honor the children you know. What words do they need to hear? What do you feel is so special about them that you want them to know? How can you let them know that you really see them? And one last very important detail for tonight. Do not forget to leave out some cookies for the elves. No, they aren't for Santa. They're for your house elves, a highly sensitive lot that might pack up and leave, taking their magic with them if you don't remember to thank them for their service tonight. And we'll talk more about this on December 26th, which is their very special day. And now enjoy today's meditation about honoring the child within. Take a nice deep breath and let it lift your chest and send it all the way down into your deepness. And think about softening the muscles of your belly and your hips and your thighs. Any armoring around our hearts will often carry as tightness or tension or holding in that part of the body. But as you soften and connect with yourself, feel a settling. And see if you can just relax that lower part of your body, even a teaspoon more. And it might help to imagine or think about a wondrous child of promise and creativity and innocence, quickness and lightness, a child that's prone to curiosity and laughter and spontaneity. And as you think about this pure vessel for joyful, exuberant being, feel a kindness blossoming within you, spreading throughout your body as it warms every cell. And then imagine that this child is an earlier version of you, innocent, light, curious. And then call in with you that great Earth Mother energy, that presence of your old, healthy, wise ones and the spirits of place and the animal friends that nurture and support you. And imagine this child being cradled, bundled up tight in a feeling of being safe, seen, secure, and soothed. And gently now, gently as falling snow, settle that feeling a little deeper into your body. Allow yourself to linger in this state of well-being for as long as you like.